Today I thought of sharing with you all about second chakra. This will be an introductory video regarding second chakra, in other words, Svadhisthana chakra and also sacral chakra. So, like this chakra, actually, if you take the color of this chakra is orange. And at the same time, the element of this chakra is water. So let's look at what really governs by this chakra. One of the biggest things that governs by this chakra is emotions. Like if you take your emotions are governed by this chakra. And due to that, like all your trauma is residing in this chakra. So when dealing with trauma, mostly we need to deal with the second chakra. And this is the very chakra which is governed the sexuality of your life. If this chakra is blocked, then your sexuality would be blocked. That is one more thing. And another one is like, if you take your creativity, also governed by this. And at the same time, if you take your desires, is also governed by this chakra. For example, like if someone is very much indulging so much desire, then it really makes this chakra becomes weak. And that's when you get into addictions. So addictions also comes in this chakra. So basically, this is the chakra. If you take for your ability to experience pleasure, that is the main function of this chakra. Whether can you truly feel pleasure in your life? So if you take, like, you might have heard the term inner child. So inner child also reside in this second chakra. And whenever we are dealing with or doing some inner work regarding inner child, so second chakra is what we are dealing with. So now we have talked about what really governs by this chakra. Let's look at what really blocks this chakra. What do you think? So if this chakra is like about the function of that is ability to experience pleasure, what do you think blocks this chakra? Actually, this chakra is blocked by the feeling of guilt. More someone feels guilt, more they blocks this chakra. So, like if you take, like, let's say someone is feeling quite guilty towards their sexuality, then they are really blocking this chakra because they cannot experience or like fully go into the experience of sex. Why? Because they have the feeling of guilt constantly blocking them going into this. So do you see like how this chakra is being blocked by is the guilty feeling? Even if you take, like, let's say I remember one time I asked one of my clients to go for a really nice restaurant and have a very good meal. And she went there and then she just reported me later on that actually even though she went there, she couldn't really enjoy the food. The reason being is that she felt guilty that their parents are at home and how can she enjoy this delicious meal. So she couldn't enjoy the food, that she was blocked by experiencing pleasure. Why? Because of the feeling of guilt. Their parents are not experiencing this with her. Do you see? This is how it gets blocked. So this chakra can be either, like this chakra can be imbalanced in two different ways. One is like in an excessive way, the other one is deficient way. So like if you take excessive ways, like if someone go into excessive ways, like I can say the signs of that is like they want intense emotions in order to feel like this is I'm talking about the excessive range, like they need to constantly feel intense emotions in order to feel alive. And at the same time they are very much overly indulgent with their desires. Like if you take like someone who is binge eating on food, they are overly indulgent in food, like like going beyond like whatever they required for nutrition, no, they go beyond that and start eating even more than what they really required. So, and the next thing is the person goes into deficient, like deficient second chakra, is where they do not feel emotions much. They have a very flat emotions. And at the same time, they have this dull and boring kind of, because they don't have any emotions, because they are not very expressive with their emotions. And basically what happens is they are very much out of touch with their feelings, and they are overall they are out of touch with themselves. So this is how the excessive and deficient works. So how does a balanced person with a second chakra would look like? Actually, they are more fluid and flexible because the element is water. And at the same time, they are very sensual. And also they are very much, like if you take, they are very comfortable feeling their emotions. Not only feeling just their positive emotions, even when they need to face their negative emotions, they are fine with that. They can fully feel those emotions and process them. So basically, they are very much like connected with how they are feeling. At the same time, they are touch with themselves. Because of that, since they are connected with themselves, they can also connect with other people. So this is how a balanced person would look like. A second chakra balanced person's characteristics is fluid, sensual, feels their emotion, they are in touch with themselves, and also they are in touch with other people. So this is how excessive person would act, deficient person would act, and also balanced person would act. So I shared with you all like what are the ways that, like how does this chakra gets blocked, right? So let's look at more why someone's second chakra can get blocked. Like basically it goes back to your childhood. Like let's say in your childhood, your environment is constantly denial of your, like the child's emotional state. They don't acknowledge or they don't sit with those emotions, or they constantly deny, because a parent or like if you take a parent who is not in touch with themselves, not in touch with their feelings, they deny their emotions. So if that's the case, they are very likely that they would deny the emotions or feelings of the child. So if someone is growing up in a place where they are like denial of their emotions, very likely that at the same time their second chakra can get blocked, because now they are very much blocked to express how they feel or how their emotions are. And then the next one is unpleasant or painful environment also really blocks the second chakra. Let's say someone is growing up in a very abusive or unpleasant or very painful environment. This also really creates an imbalance in second chakra. And at the same time, let's say unbalanced emotional environment also creates the second chakra imbalance. For example, if the emotional environment is very volatile, that can lead to imbalance. And at the same time, if it's very flat, there's no emotions whatsoever, that also can create block in the second chakra. So you have overall understanding what is this chakra is all about. And as I said, this is what governs the emotion, sexuality, and also like your creativity, and also your desire. All these are being governed by this chakra. So if someone is overindulgent in their desires, their second chakra gets imbalanced. And so this chakra can get either excessive or deficient. So it's about like balancing this and keep it in the proper proportionate and the size which it's supposed to be, and in a balanced place. And so I shared how a more excessive person would constantly need to feel intense emotions in order to feel alive. And the deficient person would be very dull with their emotions. They are very flat. They don't express their emotions, or they are very much out of touch with their emotions. A balanced person would be connected with their emotions, whereas they are connected with themselves. So this is how the second chakra would be worked. And at the same time, if you take the second chakra also, like inner child resides in this second chakra. Whenever we are dealing or working with our inner child work, we are dealing with our second chakra. That is where also the trauma resides. So having a very emotional balance is what required for a second chakra to be balanced. And if you take, addictions are all coming from an emotional imbalance place. So that's why it's very important that we are becoming more and more balanced with our emotional life, and so becomes more emotionally matured as a person, which supports for you to go from second chakra to third chakra. Third chakra is all about inner dark. And if you can take charge of second chakra, it would be very helpful for your third chakra as well. So, okay, I mean, this is what I wanted to share as the introductory video of a second chakra. Hope you understood what's really this chakra is about, and you can find out whether what imbalance that you have, whether you have an excessive or a deficient, and how we can come into the balance. So, like, see what's imbalances that you have, so that you can start working on your chakras. More basically, if someone has addictions, that issue, so basically you got to really work on your second chakra. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day and take care.